So as I start this, let's just take a look down. So as you can see, I've got 3 pedals. This is your clutch, my brake, and then my gas pedal. This clutch pedal is incredibly important, obviously, as part of a manual. Typically, you just have that brake and that gas pedal. So this clutch, which I use with my left foot, is really what makes a manual a manual. It's this clutch pedal, and then of course the shifter here. So now, before you even start driving, I would just say press the clutch in, press it out, press it in, press it out, and just get a feel for it. I think a lot of times people are kind of scared of the clutch, and I think especially when you're in neutral, make sure you're in neutral when you do this. It kind of gives you an easy way to just kind of feel it. The next step I would say is let's put your clutch in, go into first gear. Of course, make sure your e-brake is off, and then just glide forward and then stop. So now I'm going to back up a little bit just so I've got a little bit more space, but really what I'm trying to let you do to start is just feel where the clutch point is. So if you're thinking about the clutch, let's just say it's this long. Different cars have different kind of catch points on the clutch, kind of meaning when you can actually shift into the gear. So my brother has a Mercedes C300. His clutch point is maybe, let's say, here. So it's maybe a quarter of the way up. Mine is a little bit higher. So the clutch point is 335 is about here. So you can see, again, I'm going to put it into first gear. Nothing. Now it's catching right there. Now I'm going into neutral again. So let's try that again. Again, I think this is the best way to learn it. Just start off extremely slowly. I'm in first gear. Now, nothing. Now it's catching, it's caught. Now going back in neutral. Now I'm going to put it in reverse and essentially do the same thing. So again, this is first gear. Push it further to far left, up. That's reverse. You can also see it says it right there. And now again, my clutch is all the way in. Releasing it, it's catching. Now pushing it back in to make sure I don't go too fast. Now let's try it again. Clutch out a little bit, you can see it's catching, and that's when it's getting the power. So again, just to be clear, what we're doing right now is I just want you to feel the clutch. And I want you to feel that catch point. Again, all cars are different, and I think that's an extremely important part of it, is kind of finding where the catch point is in that car. And I think between going through neutral and 1 is kind of the best way to do it. You can do it at a very slow speed, and I would say if you are ever concerned about stalling it, put the clutch in. Put the clutch in. That is your kind of safety word. If you're concerned about stalling it, just put your clutch in, reset, and go from there. So again, let's do it one last time. Clutch is in, first gear. Now, I'm not even pressing the gas here. Just letting the cars idle be enough. Catching, caught. Now pushing it back into neutral. So now as we take it out on the road, we can definitely add some more gas, but I think for that initial start, just don't even mess with the gas. The car has enough power on idle for you to be able to put the clutch in. So again, just clutch in, put it into first, and then let that idle give you enough power to go into the clutch or to go into the gear. So now that I'm out on the road, let's do one more no gas gear shift. So I've got I'm in neutral, I got my clutch in, first gear. Now let's just ease out on the clutch, slowly, and it caught. So again, all I'm doing there is there's 0 gas there, and although I wouldn't recommend to do that all the time, I don't think it's great for the clutch, since you're going super slowly, it allows you to find that clutch point, and it allows you to know kind of exactly where the clutch point is, but also just how much gas or how little gas you need to shift. So all I'm doing is clutch in, first gear, no gas, easing the clutch out, finding the clutch point, slowly releasing into first gear. So I think finding that clutch point and knowing kind of where it exactly is crucial for you to learn to drive a manual, and also kind of crucial for you to know your car itself. Okay, so let's start this off. Put your clutch in, put it in first gear, and now just let it glide into gear. I caught the catch point. Now give it some gas as you ease the clutch out. Now clutch is entirely out, clutch in, second gear, let the clutch ease out. And now what's also important is, as you get kind of higher and higher into the gears, I always think it gets a ton easier. Once you get that first gear down and you get that catch point down, the rest of the gears are much easier, and you can release the clutch much quicker as well. So now I'm kind of gliding through the gears, but okay, so now we're coming up to another stop sign. Clutch in, neutral, clutch out. Now just let it glide. Now as I'm going into the stop sign, clutch in, first gear. Now as you come in here, I'm gonna give it a little bit more gas and slowly release the clutch. Clutch is out, clutch in, second, a little bit of gas, clutch out. So again, if you're ever concerned about stalling, put the clutch in. If you're ever concerned about stalling, or you're nervous or you're panicking, put your clutch in, it's fine. The clutch in is, I would say, it's the absolute safety word. Okay, so this isn't a stop sign, but I'm gonna stop kind of quickly here. Now this is the dreaded hill start. The hill start is nothing to be afraid of, but you will need to give it more gas. So let's just stop here, clutch in. Now I'm in first gear. Now as I'm evening it back out, if you look at my RPMs, they're gonna be a little bit higher here, but it's just you need to give it a little bit more gas. Now as I'm going into second, clutch in, a little bit more gas, clutch out into second. So it's really no different than flat. You just have to give it a little bit of gas. So whereas before, when I was in that driveway, I was saying don't even touch the gas and just ease into that first gear, you couldn't do that on a hill. The idle just isn't enough power for it to shift, but you just have to give it a little bit of gas. Let's say maybe 1,000, maybe 1,500 RPMs to give it enough power to shift. But you don't need to be anywhere near 3,000 or 4,000. It's just a little bit more gas so that you have enough power to slip into that gear. Again, it just comes with practice and kind of knowing kind of where your car kind of wants to shift and how much power it needs to shift. But a hill start is really just give it a little bit more power so you don't choke out the engine. That's all it is. So now this is a pretty steep hill, so let's try this one. So I'm gonna put my clutch in, I'm in neutral, and I'm stopped right now. You can see me actually rolling back. Clutch in, first gear, giving it more gas, more gas. So you can see even there, I only had to go around to 1,500 RPMs. Honestly, not the smoothest shift by me, but I was trying to give a good example. So this is a pretty steep hill, as you can see. It's probably like this. And I still only had to give it, let's say, 1,500 RPMs to shift it. But again, as I'm leaving that clutch out, or as I'm pulling that clutch out, giving it a little bit of gas, and then it kind of nets out. But again, you don't need 3,000 or 4,000 RPMs to shift, kind of going up a hill. I would say it's just a difference of, if it's flat, you can get into gear with an idle of, let's say, 500 RPMs. But then going up a hill, maybe you need 1,000, maybe you need 1,500. So it's really not that much. It's not as much as people think. Again, it's just kind of giving it enough power so that the engine doesn't choke out. It's really all it is. Okay, so as I conclude this, I want to give you 3 tips. Number 1, the clutch is your friend. I think a lot of people are kind of concerned about using their left foot with the clutch. They're kind of scared about how to use it, but the clutch is your friend. If you ever feel like you're going to stall, or you're ever kind of concerned what to do, put your clutch in, put it back into neutral, and just reset for a second. Take a step back. The clutch is really kind of what allows you to move the gears, but it also is kind of what allows you to reset. So the clutch is your friend. Secondly, learn your clutch point. So what I was doing in that driveway, where I was giving it no gas and I was easing into first gear, I think that's crucial for you to learn your car and how to drive a manual. That clutch point and kind of knowing where the clutch matters and where it's the most important to your shift is crucial to you learning how to drive a manual. So again, learn that clutch point, learn where it is, and learn how to find it. Now lastly, don't be afraid to use gas, but don't use too much of it. So as I was going up that hill previously, that was a very steep hill, but I only had to use maybe 1,000, 1,200, maybe 1,500 RPMs in order to start on that hill. So again, like, if you're flat, you don't even really need to give it any gas. Maybe it's just like 500 RPMs or so. And then on a hill start, you do need to give it some gas, but don't give it too much gas. It will make it easier to a certain extent to shift. If you shift from an idle into first gear versus, let's say, like 800 RPMs, the 800 RPMs will be easier. But I think people kind of overestimate how much gas they need to give a manual in order to get it going. It's really just maybe a touch or so. I think people kind of put their foot down, get to 3,000 or 4,000 RPMs to do a shift. And if you're trying to go fast, sure, that's one thing. But if you're just trying to get into the gear, you really don't need as much kind of gas as you think. So definitely use the gas to your advantage, but don't just mash it, especially as you're learning how to drive it. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Again, kind of my 3 takeaways. Number 1, the clutch is your friend. Number 2, learn your clutch point. And number 3, don't be afraid to use your gas. So pretty simple takeaways. Again, I would just say, just drive it. It's really the best way to learn it. Like, the best way to learn a manual is for it to be your daily driver and for you to just be consciously shifting through those and kind of listening to when the engine wants to shift. The car wants to shift. It wants to go into a higher gear. So really, kind of what you're doing, or the way I like to think about it, is you're allowing it to happen. Like right now, the car's in 1, it wants to shift, throw it into 2, and it's super smooth. It wants to shift. It wants to go into the next gear, and you're just kind of enabling it. So I hope this was helpful. Probably gonna be doing some more manual videos as well to kind of help people out. But if you like this type of content, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.